Hi, Filmatics. Welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Today we have Calvin Brown Jr. and L.J. Lawrence. They are writers and producers known for The Proud Family, and they are doing the reboot Louder and Prouder, and they're working on it right now, and it will be on Disney Plus. Let's welcome Calvin Brown Jr. and L.J. Lawrence to the show. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you on the show. This is such a special treat. And can you let our Filmatics audience know where you're recording live from today?
Home. Yeah, both working from home right now. I'm actually working from North Carolina right now, but I'll be back in LA probably by the end of the summer.
Okay, so that's
I'm in Singapore.
Wait, so that Calvin said he's working from home in North Carolina, right?
Yes.
And Leo Lawrence, you are working in Singapore?
No.
Oh.
I'm in Studio City. I'm sorry.
So you're in Studio City, so you're close to me. I'm Los Angeles. Yeah. So is it wonderful to work at home, or do you kind of miss working at the studio itself?
I miss working at the studio. I miss human contact. I miss getting out of the house. So I'm definitely ready to get back to the studio. I'm kind of zoomed out.
Zoomed out. And that was Calvin. What about you, LJ?
I care less about the studio. I like home. I like going to work in Malibu on the beach over my phone on Zoom or wherever I want to be. I like that much better.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Disney adopts that and lets us do it forever.
I like it because I can be home with my dog, and I can play my own music and have it. So I want to ask everyone. So Calvin and LJ, we have you both here today. So thank you. Can you share with us one of your favorite childhood films growing up?
For me, it's probably The Sound of Music.
What did you say?
I said my favorite childhood film was probably The Sound of Music.
Wait, my favorite movie of all time is Sound of Music. I didn't even know that about Cal. I didn't know that. That's my favorite movie of all time. Number one movie is Sound of Music.
Oh.
Absolutely. I know every song, every scene, every character. My mother took me to see it 11 times in the theater in 1965.
Oh my gosh, amazing. So that's LJ. So you went with your mom and you went at least 11 times to the theater. Did you go?
And then when VCRs came out, I'd come home from college and we're watching that during Christmas breaks. Anytime I came home and it was a family gathering, my mother puts The Sound of Music in. So by default, it became my favorite movie.
I love that. Your mom has great taste.
Yeah.
And so Calvin, what about you?
Like I said, my childhood movie probably was The Sound of Music because it was so well done. How could you hate that movie? But as I got older and funnier, I became more in line with the stuff by Mel Brooks. So like Blazing Saddles is something that I watch more times than I can count. And if it came on right now, I'd probably be watching it instead of talking to you.
Well, I know where he dines in Beverly Hills, and he tells me to walk my dog so he can pet it because he's got a group of guys that he has lunch with in Beverly Hills. And I met him. I am trying to get him on the show. But I just want to say how spectacular that is that, like, you went with your parents. And I remember my aunt in Louisiana. That was our big thing, like you too, LJ, like watching it during the Christmas holidays. My aunt, she put it on. And back then, that's when it was the old-fashioned TV where you didn't even have a clicker. You had to go up there and turn the big knob to the channel. And it's such a beautiful movie. Is there a particular character that you like? Was it like the teacher, the kids? Was there any particular characters you guys liked in the movie?
I liked the whole movie.
Because you're writers. I was wondering, as a writer, like what did you like the kids? Did you like the teacher?
Watching that movie growing up, I had no idea that I was going to be a writer. You know, I thought I was an actor at that point.
Yeah, but as a writer, I guess probably for me, obviously Maria and the captain are probably the two most complex characters. So they're really the two that most people watch.
And I also like that you were a kid, you're just watching, just having fun. It was just an amazing, great show for kids. So I want to ask you, so the next question is, did you have a film that's one of like a masterpiece film that perhaps inspired you to go on your career path as being writers and producers?
Well, like I said earlier, for me, Blazing Saddles, I had other movies that stood out, like as I started going to blaxploitation films as I got older with my older cousins, to see the Mandingos, the Coffee, to see the Black Cinema, the Superfly. So all of that kind of contributed to what I do today, though. I don't get away with it that much on Proud Family because it's Disney, but believe me, I pitch jokes are completely unusable, but they'll lead to jokes that are eventually usable.
I love Superfly. I love Superfly. Calvin, your comedy. Yes, comedy. I love comedy. And when I saw Superfly, I was like, oh my God, I love this movie. It was like, yeah. So now we have Lee. So that was Calvin telling us Blazing Saddles to Superfly are some of his special films that are favorites for him. So now we have LJ.
The thing that got me to writing wasn't movies, it was television. I watched Gilligan's Island, Brady Bunch. Yeah, I'm telling my age. I'm 61. I don't look it, though, for your listeners that can't see it. I know I look 30, but
yes, he does. I can testify to that. They all look great.
But no, yeah, old TV was my thing. Those shows, The Jeffersons, Good Time, Sanford and Son, One Day at a Time. If it was a sitcom, I watched it. And so by the time I became a sitcom writer, it was like second nature to me to write it because I already thought it. I grew up thinking like a sitcom, so I watched so much of it,
like osmosis.
So I got kind of lucky that something that I did for recreation turned out to be what I do for work, and which makes it really easy to do,
So that's fantastic. So we love talking about directors here. I wanted to know, do you guys have a special director that you just love of films or TV?
Mine is Quentin Tarantino.
Amazing.
That's my favorite director. And the reason I like him is because his scripts are not written the traditional way. He does a lot of things out of sequence. That's what I really like about him. Kind of changed the way that he wrote his movies. So that would be my number one. The rest of them kind of fall together. Spike is one. I like Spike. I loved everything Steven Spielberg did. Most directors that get to the point where they're doing blockbuster movies, I probably like them. I can't really look at a movie and go, I didn't like the director. It's usually I didn't like the script.
Yeah.
So
amazing. And those are some of fantastic directors. And what about you, Calvin?
Like I said, I'm a big Mel Brooks fan, and as Leo was saying, television is probably what ultimately led me to writing for television. As I started appreciating TV, I was a big fan of All in the Family, Sanford and Son, Mary Tyler Moore, The Bob Newhart Show. Those were the shows that kind of became my template, my school, as far as wanting to do this for a living. And by the time I was ready to graduate from high school, I knew what I wanted to do. So those were the shows that kind of led me down the path of becoming a television writer.
Oh, that's amazing. Speaking of All in the Family in Beverly Hills, when they had the Cannon Theater, Sally Struthers was one of the people that did the plays there, and they did a lot of play readings. And I actually worked with her. I was her white chicsa granddaughter. So we're going to talk about so Calvin, did you grow up in North Carolina?
Yes, I was born and raised in North Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina is my home. I went to the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. I was a radio, television, motion pictures major. And it's funny, what I was taught more than anything was how to write for the news versus writing for entertainment television. So what I ended up doing in North Carolina was that I had to find something to make it work. As a guy who loves comedy, I can find something funny in a plane crash, so you don't want me in a newsroom. So I started doing stand-up comedy to keep my mind going. And when I was ready to come out to LA and give it a shot, what I did was I took a part-time job with an airline in Charlotte, as Piedmont Airlines, which is now part of American. Worked for a year. After a year, you transfer to anywhere in the country. I put in my transfer to LA thinking that, it'd be a few months. They literally called me the next week, wanted me there the following week. So I was able to talk them into letting me have a month at home. And in in September 1988, I moved.
We have a little, let me see if we can get Calvin back. Let's see. We lost a little bit, but Calvin was saying how he, hello. Yeah, Calvin was saying how you worked for Piedmont Airlines, which is now American, and then you got a transfer to Los Angeles. So you had like a month-long vacation in July before you came to California, right?
Oh, no, it wasn't a vacation. I was still working.
Oh,
but they pushed it back. But so I started working at LAX in September 1988, and then I got my first job in the business. I became the writing intern on the television show A Different World in July 1989, and I've worked in television ever since.
Wow. So your internship, what show was it again? Because I want our audience to make it.
A Different World. It was a spinoff of The Cosby Show.
A Different World. So that's a spinoff of The Cosby Show. So you were an intern, and that intern.
I was a writing intern, yes, on season 3 of A Different World, 1989 through 1990, and that's how I got my start. And I've been working in television for 30 plus years now. So I'm getting old like Leo.
No, you guys are getting young.
I'm like Leo. I'm not old.
Leo's only 30.
They like to tease me about that.
It must be 25, I guess.
Yeah, and I really want our audience to know that that Calvin, like from intern, who is funny, I knew his destiny, that is a comedy, and you worked on like iconic shows like Married with Children. I mean, can you tell us about in the shows, Real Husbands of Hollywood, My Brother and Me, the Jammies? I mean, you've worked on like there's so many. The Sinbad Show. Can we talk about the Sinbad Show? Oh my God, Calvin, can I just tell you? I was on the Sinbad show as an actor. I was one of his little Sinbad's friends, and so yes, and the manager of Sinbad was so nice to me. So I didn't know.
That was his brother.
That's his brother, Mark.
Oh, yeah, he's the one who helped me get my SAG card, and he was so nice to me. He's the one that he kept me coming back, and so you wrote on the Sinbad show. I mean, that was one of the funniest shows. I mean,
it's funny. I worked on the show. I came on board after they had shot, I think, the first 2 or 3, and I came with my mentor, who was my boss on Proud Family, Ralph Farquhar, and Michael Whitehorn, and our job was to fix the show, and that's what we did. But then they left, and I left. I went to Orlando to do My Brother and Me. Moved across to Fox to do South Central. So none of us were there the whole time. But the time I was there, it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed the time I was there, and I met so many great people. Played Sinbad's mom, and Al Williams. I think it's just great. Played his dad, and Hal's still a friend of mine. I stay in touch with him. So that was a lot of good memories from the Sinbad show.
And then you went to My Brother and Me, and where you were a TV series and executive producer for 13 episodes. And can I just share a little thing? So you worked on Married with Children. I just have to tell you this. Joey Segal. Do you know Joey Segal?
I met him. He actually did an episode when I was there.
Yes, like when I was a talent manager, I actually represented Joey Segal, and I didn't know Katie Segal was his sister, but he's a lovely, lovely guy. You worked on like legendary, iconic TV shows. I mean, like you really knew what you were supposed to do when you were a kid. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing.
I got lucky with Married with Children again, thanks to my mentor Ralph Farquhar. I used to work there. But when I was doing stand-up in North Carolina, we used to have an open mic night on Sundays. And I would not show up to open mic night until after I watched Married with Children. I mean, it was my favorite show. And it was like the only show as a comic that at the time, I just thought I was laugh out And my dream was always work on that show. And in season 6, I got to write a freelance episode. And in season 10, I was I was a consulting producer. So that was probably still one of the highlights of my life working on that show. And believe me, if they do reboot it, I will be first in line trying to get back on it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And like Christina Applegate went on to do major things. And you worked on Moesha. You were a co-executive producer. Moesha, another hit. Malcolm and Eddie, the Parkers. I mean, second time around. Of course, the Proud Family. Then you have all, Who's Got Jokes, the Sisterhood, the Jammies, the Proud Family. Can you share some of your favorite? Like, is there any other show that you have any stories on that you want to like spill the dish? Or
well, probably my favorite show of the ones you named would be My Brother and Me, because it was the show that I co-created, and we did 13 episodes for Nickelodeon, and I think we were a little ahead of our time, but we were the first Black family sitcom on Nickelodeon, and that was in 1995. So we can always say we were first. Funny, even now people are still talking about trying to reboot it, which is crazy, but hey, if it did happen, I would be there.
Okay, hope somebody's listening. Because I want to thank Italy and Kenya and India. We've hit number 2, 4, and 7, and we're getting big numbers around the world. So we're just thank our fans for listening. And so now we're going to ask LJ. LJ, can you kind of tell us where you grew up and how you broke into the business?
I grew up in Oakland, California, and I dropped out of med school to do stand-up comedy. And after that, got to LA and went to an episode of Cheers and said, I think I want to be down there where those actors and those people do what they're doing. And I found out about writing. That's how I found out about it. My first show was a show called In Living Color.
Oh my God.
Homie the Clown, Fire Marshal Bill, that stuff. And like Calvin, they called us like a writer apprentice, which was a nice way to say he's a writer, but we're not paying him what we're supposed to. But then I went on to do some other shows, hang with Mr. Cooper, Jamie Foxx show, so stuff like that.
Amazing. So you did In Living Color, which is like you both were stand-up comedians. So you have comedy as your gift. That's truly your gift. And you found your pathway in as interns. And like for someone that's talking about interns, I've interned everywhere. I could never find an opening as a female. Anytime I went to somewhere, they're like, oh, we just hired the intern. And even the interns, there's no more opening. So yeah, it's a lot of people say how hard it is, but like you just got to find that door. And like Calvin, you were talking about your mentor. Can you share a little bit how you met your mentor? And because mentors are so cherished and treasured to people in the business.
Well, this is a question that both of us can answer. It's the same man, Ralph Farquhar. He's our executive producer on Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. And when I was working on A Different World, I was going through a time where I wrote a spec script, and it seems like I couldn't get any of the writers to read it. So I was almost to the point I was ready to go back home to North Carolina. I was walking to my car that night, and out of the blue, I hear a voice behind me say, Calvin, child, what's wrong? I turn around, it's Debbie Allen, the absolute most important person on A Different World. And I said, well, Debbie, I wrote the spec script, but, no one's read it. I'm not getting any kind of feedback. She said, I'll read your script, child. And I gave it to her. This was Wednesday night. On Friday, I get a phone call, and the only people that ever called me was my mom or somebody. So I think it was my mama, and said, Calvin, it's Debbie Allen. I love your script. I said, well, Debbie, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm happy that you read it and liked it. She said, how would you like to work on a pilot I'm doing for the singing group The Boys with my friend Ralph Farquhar? I said, well, yeah, absolutely. She said, okay, because, child, today's your last day in A Different World. Starting on Monday, you work for me. And my life completely changed that day. So I will always be loyal to Debbie Allen. Debbie is my muse, my everything. So I guess, you treat people nice, they'll remember you. Because, I know some people who are jerks. They don't treat people right, but Debbie's the best. She treats everybody the same. So I've always tried to treat people the same. And Same with Ralph. So that's my mentor story, and I'll pass it on to Leo.
I don't have any mentors. Nobody's ever helped me. I come from the ghetto, from the hood, and no, I'm just kidding. Ralph, like, you should see your face, Marilyn. You're like, oh my God, this is serious. We're comedians. Remember that? We're comedy writers.
Because I was just like, I can relate to that. I don't have a mentor yet. I'm hoping, man. I did have a beautiful lady, Michaela Hart, on. She said, I could maybe be your mentor, but like, she's so busy. But like, I would love a mentor. I don't have one, but but it's all about.
I wouldn't call Ralph my mentor. I would call him more like my savior. No, we were pitching, me and Ralph were pitching a TV series about 4 years ago now, and we were pitching it every single network in town. And we were at NBC one day, and he got the call that they were picking up Proud Family, and he just turned to me and said, "Hey, you got a job." That was the extent of it. So somewhere while we were pitching, I must have made him like me. I'm just glad I did. I don't know what I did, but he did. So I got to thank him for that, but you need, in this business, you need, no matter how good you are or think you are, you're going to need somebody to give you a leg up, help you out, and yeah, he was definitely biggest person that's ever helped me do anything. Tim.
And we're so lucky that Debbie Allen, read your script, Calvin, and we're so happy, LJ, that this. What's the gentleman's name that that gave you the job, your first job on that, the Proud Family? Ralph Farquhar. We're so happy that they recognize the talent in you and recognize the script, because just finding someone to read a brilliant script that's just hard work. Like, that's like trying to find like the puzzle piece. So congratulations. Can you tell me, Calvin, what made you write The Proud Family? And can you share a little bit of this amazing story that Disney is rebooting? And it's like, I'm so happy. Louder and Prouder. I'm so excited that you're on the show, that our audience can like rediscover this TV show.
Thank you. Like I said, the title of the show is The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. Because it's a reboot, we can just be the Proud Family again. So we're the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. I was fortunate to work on the original series. Ralph Farquhar and Bruce Smith, the creator of the show. The three of us are the only two that came back from the original show working on the reboot as far as writing and creating go. So it's been a blast, because when we did the original series, we started in 2000, and we did 52 episodes in a movie between 2001 and 2006. So I honestly thought that I would never work on it again. And ironically, we were pitching a animated series, Ralph, Ruth, and myself, and we pitched to Amazon, we pitched to Netflix, and out of respect, obviously, we pitched to Disney, because that's where we did the original show, even though it was a completely different show that we pitched. But they came back a week later and said how much they really liked the new idea, but they said, how would you guys like to come back and do The Proud Family instead? So we jumped on it. And after that happened, Leo was brought on board, and a couple other writers, three females who are all relatively good writers, Tiffany Thomas, Kylie Evans, and Ashley Soto. So all of us make the new writing staff of Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. So it's been great.
Yeah, and can you tell us what stars are coming back? Like, are you going with the original stars, or is there going to be like some surprises? Are you allowed to tell us anything? Because this is sneak peek stuff.
Everybody's coming back. That's been publicized. We do have some new characters, and there's going to be a lot of great surprises this year. So we're geeked. I can't really talk about them because if Disney finds out about it, we would be out of work, and we might be working for you. But the original cast is coming back. So,
and when's it going to be released again? Like, when can everyone like see it on Disney Plus?
February 2022 during Black History Month. That's when we'll premiere.
Oh, nice! So the next year, February 2022, Black History Month. So that'll be February. So amazing!
And it's coming up as sooner than it's like I can't even believe it's already June right now. It's like going fast.
Yeah, time flies.
Before you know it, it'll be on, and that'll be great. And we're all hopefully moving to other projects. I got a new show that I definitely can't talk about that Ralph gave me. He said, "You're doing this," and I'm not taking no for an answer. And I was like, "Great," So that'll be my show, I guess. And I'm gonna try to steal Calvin to come do it with me if he'll let him go. Because me and Calvin in the room, it's non-stop jokes for me and Calvin in the room. It's got to be funny.
Oh my gosh.
We do.
That's funny. Me and Calvin actually worked together 30 years ago. We met each other 30 years ago on a show.
And now you're coming back together full circle, right?
Yeah, it's like a long time ago.
Oh, so that's amazing that you guys get along and you're good friends and you can work in different states from Zoom to in studio. So can you share anything with us, with our audience that you like that's coming up, or anything you want to share, your social media, or how do people keep up with you?
I'm a recluse. So yeah, I don't have any social media, emails, Snapchats, Instagrams, none of that. I pretty much regular mail, and if you see me on the street, that's how you contact me. Matter of fact, I'm at a library right now talking on their computer because I don't have that either. I have a typewriter at home. That's how I write my script. I'm just, I'm a simple guy. Just keep it simple.
Who owns 2 luxury cars and yeah, he's having a rough. But
well, if you want them to keep up with you, like they got the podcast where they can keep up with you. But is there any like a Facebook page or any other social media you want them to?
They can find me on Facebook under Calvin Brown Jr. or they can find me on Instagram under junior.calvinbrown.
Okay, and is there a website for the show or anything like that you want to?
Not at the moment. I think they're working on it, but I'm pretty sure there'll be the Proud Family Louder and Prouder page. I would think before the premiere. I'm hoping so, but they're releasing a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been on there to look for it, but they've been doing a lot of interviews with the cast and some of our surprise guests. So I'm assuming a lot of that will be on the website soon.
Oh, amazing! And is there anything you'd like to share with us? Like during COVID, how it changed your art, and like, has it changed your art at all, or has it helped you? Or
I played a lot of golf.
A lot of golf. That's LJ.
Palm Springs, go to Palm Springs where nobody's out there, and enjoy the good weather. And COVID has been bad for a lot of people, but for a lot of us, it's been a blessing. Because I was before Proud Family, it's animated, and both Calvin and I both like live action shows with real people. And so I took the Proud Family thing and thought, I don't want to do a cartoon. COVID hit. I was like, boy, I'm glad I'm on a cartoon because, we never stop working.
We haven't missed a check. I mean,
haven't missed a day.
Definitely COVID proof.
Yeah, it's been a blessing for us.
Yeah.
To be able to do that.
And do y'all and how would you advise someone to get in if they want to be a writer? Are they just looking for like some kind of internship program, or
shoot themselves in the head first? That's what I say.
But if they survive the shooting, look for an internship. Now, I got so lucky when I got the internship at A Different World. I was actually going for a PA position. And the line producer asked me what I ultimately wanted to do, and I told her that I wanted to be a writer. So that's how it happened.
Well, I just want to thank Calvin Brown Jr. and LJ Lawrence for coming on the show today. It's been a special treat, and I know our Filmatics audience are gonna check out in February next year during Black History Month, Louder and Prouder on Disney Plus. Thank you guys for joining today.
Thanks for having us. And it's the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. Just Louder and Prouder won't work.
The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. Always the Proud Family first.
Thanks, guys, for being on the show.
Okay, thank you.